What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? That's the look you're going with, dude.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
the one.
look. That's the look that's going to start the show. Okay.
Deer in the headlights. That's
Oh man, that's the only way to do it, bro. I am. I'm still tired from that wedding.
still.
That wedding was. I did okay. So let
Tell
me
me the
explain.
wedding story because we're going to get into Deadpool heavy spoilers after this, but first, Coach has it's story time with Coach.
Yeah, it is. So I officiated my first wedding. Would have been May 19th. The guy, buddy of mine, Cody, and his wife Megan, lovely couple. I am responsible for them being married. He was my assistant manager at GameStop, and
Mm-hmm.
so um, when I left the store in Plainview, Texas, and moved away, he ended up quitting to go to college full time, and they couldn't transfer him to Amarillo. So when I moved back to Amarillo and took a store there, I needed to get an assistant manager. I went and found him in a Best Buy, brought him in. Then that same week, 2 weeks later, this young lady's dad came in and said, "Hey, I need a job for my daughter." I told him to send her up. I interviewed the young lady, gave her a job, liked her a lot, and then I made him work with the young lady, and now that's his wife. So
So
it
it's all
is
your fault.
it is, man. I gladly take blame for this coupling, and it's in his vows. He even mentioned it, so it was cool. But once again, it meant I had to go to Amarillo, and as you guys may know, me and Amarillo don't necessarily have bad times. Like I have a lot of amazing friends there.
Mm-hmm.
Amarillo is just a weird place. It is strange as hell. And so I was in Amarillo and I took off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it was a 4 days. I was off the weekend, but I only took off the Thursday and Friday. And I did not go to Amarillo until Friday. I didn't leave Austin until Friday morning. And I don't need a lot of free time in Amarillo because I have a lot of crazy friends. And
Mm-hmm.
if you give me too much free time in Amarillo, I'm going to get drunk and we're going to have fun. We're just going to tear stuff up. So, knowing that that's how it goes when I go to Amarillo, I decided, hey, limit yourself by 24 hours in this town. So, the wedding is amazing. It is so like I follow Starfleet protocol, and it was heavy geek references, and there were just like all kinds of lines, for like the part where it says, "Do you take this woman to be your awfully wedded wife, to love and to hold, to cherish, and all that thing?" No, his was video game references. So it was, "Do you take this woman to be your player two, to be the healer to your tank, to breach all strongholds with you, to jump on grenades when they try to attack your stronghold, to be the queen that stands beside you as you destroy all kingdoms laid before you." It was like this crazy thing. And then for hers, it was the line from, oh my gosh, what was that? It was Phantom of the Opera. That's what it was. So it was like the line to hold me to love. It was this great quote from Phantom of the Opera, which was
Mm-hmm.
her favorite musical. And so it was heavy geek, nerdy. Like I watched. I had to Google a lot of Starfleet protocols for weddings to write the ceremony the way they
Right.
wanted it to go, and so and I'd watched a lot of the original, and then the next what was the next
Next gen.
generation was Picard. Yeah, so I was kind of cool on those, but then I found out a cool little fact that every freaking wedding started with the same quote in every wedding episode of a Star Trek. It always said, "Since the time of wooden ships," they always say that. And I just thought, oh, wow, I didn't even notice it until I started doing the research. So it was kind of cool. We did the wedding and kind of talked to a friend about officiating their wedding, and they're thinking about doing a Final Fantasy VII wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So that may become my new thing is if you want Coach to do your wedding, it has to be themed, and I will show up. I will cosplay. I am going to probably go to the wedding dressed as Barrett to officiate it. If it is if they settle on Final Fantasy VII, I'm going to cosplay Barrett. Unless they do a video game themed wedding, I may go as Coach from Left 4 Dead 2. I may. It just depends. It depends on what they do. But if you, I'm just putting that out there. If you do a theme wedding and you want a big fat black guy to officiate it, I will. Depending on where you live, you're gonna have to pay. But I am willing to cosplay for your wedding and write the ceremony based on whatever the theme is. But Uh, that's not what made this wedding unique. That in and of itself was unique. It was the
Oh no.
reception after the wedding that made this one unique. So it was an open bar.
That's a bad idea.
Bro, anytime you're in the panhandle of Texas and you have an open bar, it's about to turn into a hootenanny. Now, a hootenanny for our friends overseas and in the north parts of the U.S. In the South, a hootenanny is something where somebody gets so drunk that somebody gets knocked out and the police show up. And those are hootenannies. That's what we call a real barn burner. This one turned into a hootenanny because the bride got knocked out and Belly ended up in the parking lot face down on cement, and we had to have him taken out by ambulance. So
How the fuck did she get knocked out? I mean, did she like slip and fucking hit her head on some shit or?
no. So okay, we're all dancing, we're having a blast. I danced with her, and I did the Carlton. I had a blast. I danced with everybody. So it was just like I had some Arbor Mist in my system. So,
Oh
so
no.
I danced my ass off, dude. But I had a fun time. And then all of a sudden, like while we were outside dealing with Belly, they were still in there dancing, and one of my friends threw a wild elbow and it hit the bride right in the nose at the perfect angle and gone,
Just flat out.
knocked her out. So when I came in and they were like trying to, she was sitting in a chair and everybody surrounding her. I was like, is she crying? Yeah, nigga, she got knocked out. I didn't know. I didn't know. She got knocked the hell out. That's what's going on now. But Belly, on the other hand, bruh, he got drunk. Okay. He got seriously drunk. And we couldn't walk in. And Belly's a big dude. So, he's not a little guy to be trying to move around. So it took three of us. And then while we were I was parked around behind the building. So I had to go get my car. And they said, no, we got him in this car here. So let's move this car to that parking lot and then we'll do the transfer there. So I drive to the parking lot and they drive to the parking lot and we park with our doors like open to each other, like, like that. So you're going to be able to get him out of one and put him in the other. And
Space docking.
basically tried to. And somewhere in between there, his legs went to sleep and so did he. And his
Was
legs
that
kind
like
of,
one after the other, or was him sleeping also being his legs being asleep?
like the legs. I saw the legs go limp when we were trying to move him from the car, and I said he's going down. And they said, "What?" I said, "He's this is dead weight, and I can't hold him." And so I said, "Lean him down to his knees easily." We put him down to his knees, and then we just kind of laid him forward. And this was him on the cement. He did not move from this position, bro. He was in the cement, face down, not even snoring. Like I thought he was kind of dead for a second. And I was like, how am I gonna tell his family this fool died? I don't know how I'm gonna tell his family this that he died while hanging out with me. So we're sitting there and I was like, you gotta call an ambulance. There's no way we can leave him here. So my buddy, Andy Baker, love this guy. I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, so it was good to see him at the wedding. He calls an ambulance, and an ambulance, a fire truck, and a police car showed up.
Okay.
And it took like 4 or 5 paramedics to get Belly on a stretcher. And when we got him on the stretcher, he started talking cash money shit. Okay. And it was hella entertaining. Like I didn't even know he could write comedy, but this fool was in prime form. He's like, first of all, they were like, sir, where do you want to go to the hospital? He said, first of all, I want to apologize for being so fat. And I know you're looking at me and you're going, no, duh. But I'm like fat, like gone, bro. He went out again. And then they were like, does he have insurance? I don't have insurance, man. Just get me an Uber. I can't afford this. And they were like, sir, you're on a stretcher about to get an ambulance. Well, get me an Uber ambulance. So I can't go. I don't got insurance. So I'm like, this fool don't got insurance? What the world's going on here? So they take him. They finally they figure out what hospital they're going to take him to, and I go get his brothers. I get a hold of them, call them, hey, we're taking him to the hospital. I'm coming to get you. I go get them. By the time, and it's like 10 minutes from where we were to go to their house and pick them up. I get there. By the time I get them and we're getting in the car to go back, bro, it is a hailstorm starting, like a massive thunderstorm and hailstorm. Pea to nickel size hail starts hitting my car as we're on our way to the hospital. And I'm like, we just did get this fool by 10 minutes into the ambulance and out. Had we goofed around with him any longer, we all would have been caught in a hailstorm.
Yeah.
So we, we get to the hospital and then we go, I drop the brothers off at the emergency room doors and I go park. So I get the car parked, and as I'm getting it parked and I'm walking back up, they're coming out going, hey man, they say he's not here. I said, what do you mean he's not here? They said he's not here. There's nobody by that name. And I was like, ask him if he was admitted under the name Belly and not his real name. And he went, oh, why? I said, because everybody at the wedding kept calling him by his nickname, Belly. They don't call him his real name. And he was like, damn, you're right. So he goes back in there, and it turns out he is there, but they weren't going to give us his name. Yeah, he's admitted under that name, and they weren't going to give out his real name because they didn't want a bunch of drunks showing up because they didn't know how this big boy was knocked out in the hospital. Alcohol levels were so high that they had to start a saline drip on him and detox him. And it was just like, it was insane. So we get up in there, and when we get in the room and we finally start seeing it, we like took selfies with him. He's knocked out, and we're just like, like it was like those prisoners, that lady, like we were doing those kind of pictures with him knocked out. He has no idea how. We just took a shitload of pictures with his knocked out body. And it was just like, after we got all the pictures, hold on one second.
What are you reading? What are you reading? What are you reading? Oh no. Didn't you say something about him saying that he did have insurance after he said he didn't have insurance?
Yes, that's what I'm having to answer questions about stuff. So that's okay. This is when we're in the emergency room, and we're like, this is crazy, So the nurse comes in after we took pictures, and she's like, hey, how are you guys related? Oh, they're the brothers, and I'm the reverend. I actually am called Reverend now. I'm the reverend that performed the wedding.
Coach McDaniel.
Yeah, Reverend Coach McDaniel. So I was like, I'm the reverend that was at the wedding where he passed out. So I'm here as a friend. And they were like, okay, great. And so they started going through and filling out paperwork. And then they go ask him, hey, does he have insurance? And this fool just goes, I have United Healthcare. And like, he gets all proper, like Dave Chappelle, when Dave Chappelle does a white voice, like, I have United Healthcare. And we're like, he was just passed out. He woke up to answer that. I do have the card in my wallet.
He was not passed out that whole time.
Yeah, I can give you the card right now. And went back out, dude. It was just like, this fool is waking up to answer questions. Like, but the way he would pass out like he was in the middle of a sentence, like, I can't believe. And that's how the Christians took over Macedonia. He would like wake up and then be in another conversation. So it's like he was passing out, and in his mind, the conversation's still going. And I don't know what he thinks the answers we're asking are, but when he was waking up, these answers are not the ones. But he woke up to tell us his insurance. He did have it. After just throwing a fit with the ambulance that he didn't, he was gone. And here's the thing, I've never seen him drunk, and I've never seen him act like this. Ever. ever. Like, nobody had ever seen him drunk. All of the friends were like, has he drank before? Is this his first time drinking? And it was like, not, but I've never seen this. And so it was definitely Bruh.
You cop, stop looking at dick pics on your phone, okay? Trying to have a podcast here.
You know, dicks have to be looked at. Okay. But that's not what this is. I'm doing
Speaking
work.
of dicks that we've watched recently,
Oh my God. So before the wedding, this is how I relaxed. I actually went and watched Deadpool before I performed the ceremony. Deadpool 2. I went with the guy that got drunk and passed out. That was how it went down. And somehow I just thought watching Deadpool 2 is going to get me in the mood to do this wedding.
yeah,
It's just going to put me in the right frame of mind. And that's what we went to 11:35 showing. Wedding wasn't going to be, we didn't have to be there till like 3:30, 4 o'clock, something like crazy like that. So it was cool. We had a blast with this movie, and that's what our show's about. So if you've been listening to Team Lift for a while, you already know we're about to get spoiler heavy up in this mug. It ain't even no sense in us lying and saying we're not about to get spoiler heavy. It is going to be what it is going to be. Okay. Um, let's get into this because I personally, I'm going to tell you, I like this movie more than I like the first one, oddly enough.
um, I don't know. This movie did have problems, but
Oh,
no
yeah.
problems that it didn't overcome. Um, it had pacing issues. It felt
Hmm.
like there was too much. Like things could have been cut or made differently that would have helped the flow a little bit because it does seem to like have like a build up and then a drop off and then another build up and then another drop off. But god damn it, it was fucking hilarious all the way through.
Oh, yeah. No, there was like no parts to it where I thought, man, this sucks and it's going to be bored. No, it was so freaking good. And there were, uh, I mean, when you start thinking about this movie, Deadpool is such a pop culture reference machine.
Yeah.
So, because of that, it had, how do you say this? It's a lot of Easter eggs in this movie that you don't catch because there's such pop culture references,
Yeah.
and
And
there's a
because it's
lot of
moving
stuff
so
moving
quickly.
so
Yeah.
quickly. Yeah, I mean,
Did
you're
you
not catching everything.
did you figure out who the monster was gonna be? The monster in the bottom of the jail before he was revealed.
I had zero idea who it was.
I was like, I wonder if that's Juggernaut because I was trying to think of somebody that would be that big that's an X-Men, like that's within the X-Men realm that Fox owns that they could have used. And there weren't many people. Like it can't be Hulk because they don't exist together. And there's nobody else.
Technically, now here's the thing about that. Let's just talk about that. You said they don't exist together. There's a Hawkeye reference in this movie,
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is that
not on screen together. Yeah.
right now the MCU is separate from the X-Men Fox universe. By the way, as an aside, Comcast is trying to steal Fox out from under Disney.
What?
Yeah. There's been a bunch of stories recently where Comcast is trying to buy Fox for 60 billion and Disney offered 50. So they're trying to steal it away from him. It's either that or they're trying to basically just cost Disney more money on purpose by putting in a bid so that Disney has to up the ante and then they'll back off, which makes the sale cost more for Disney.
Mm.
That's what I think is going on. I don't think that Comcast really wants to have Fox. I think that Comcast just wants to fuck with Disney. Um, but yeah, no. What I'm saying is like, there's no other characters that I could think of. Like they have the Fantastic Four, but it's not going to be the Thing because why would the Thing be locked up? Um, and the Fantastic Four is just gone. Um, who else? Like there's no other character. It couldn't be Swamp Thing because Swamp Thing doesn't go to jail, and Swamp Thing's DC anyway, isn't he? Yeah, he's
Yeah, yeah.
he's
Man
straight
Thing would have been the Man Thing is the
Man Thing.
DC. I mean, Man, the Marvel character. Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, no. I was I'll be honest with you. I had never been so happy to see the Juggernaut in my whole life.
Yeah.
But
And
the
you're
thing that
waiting the whole time for that Juggernaut bitch reference that never happens.
oh my god, because when I saw it, I just knew he was going to say, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch," and I was going to be like, "Oh my god, it happened." There it goes. There it goes. I can walk out of this theater now. I don't even care how this movie ends. It does not happen. I waited for that payoff. It does not happen.
No. They
Uh,
probably did that shit on purpose too. I think that was intentional.
also, like,
There were some issues with like the CG. Like it seemed like somehow, even though Colossus was in the last movie, it seems like his CG was not as good as the first movie.
here's the thing: in some scenes, it was amazing, and in others, it looked weird.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
there's
Because
something
some
off about it.
close-ups it looked awesome, like the one where you were. I was looking at the definition and the muscle tissue and all that, and I was going, "Man, they really styled that well." But then at a side one earlier in the movie, I was like, "That scene doesn't look right," but I don't know what's wrong. So
Yeah,
it was like really some weird like shots, side shots of him up close where he didn't look right, but other ones looked amazing. I liked how he used the Black Widow's reference to try to calm down the
yeah.
Juggernaut.
Two toes.
Yeah, he used that reference.
Sun's getting real low, big guy.
Yeah, I was like, did he just say that? Like, it was so. I almost missed
When
it
the
because the first
Juggernaut
time he
just
said it, I was
walks,
like,
Juggernaut
what?
just walks up to him and he's like, "I'm gonna rip you in half now."
Oh my God.
Just rips him in half and sets him down and walks away.
That CG was amazing, disturbing, and so good. When he rips him in half, and it was just like, okay, that really just happened. I can't feel my legs. Oh no, there they are. I feel them. I was like, what God's name am I watching? Um,
That
the
whole the whole scene in the fucking in the mansion when he's like, "Yeah, where the fuck are the rest of the X-Men?" And then they're like in that room together and they just shut the door.
they just shut it, and it was like, and I don't know. Did you see? Like you saw
Like Beast was in
Beast,
there.
and you saw Professor X. They
Yeah,
were all in the
everybody
room,
was
and I
in
was
there.
like, did they just get the whole cast
Everybody
for that
from
one
First
little?
Class was in there. All
That
the all
blew
the
me.
actors from X-Men First Class were in there.
It blew me away when I saw that. I was just like, that is the greatest cameo in every Marvel movie ever, was to see that part, see all of them in there. And just how he broke the fourth wall and talked. It was somebody told me there were 600 different references in that film. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, that's possible. But man, I mean, when you came to the big ones were that was a big one.
Yeah.
Juggernaut was a big one. X Men, the entire first class showing up, and then the references to like Hawkeye and the reference to the line that Black Widow used from Age of Ultron on the Hulk. There were
Calm down,
references that
Thanos.
I was just,
Just
oh my
calm
god,
down.
he did say that. Like I said, did he throw a Thanos reference? So I guess he's like basically saying we all exist in the same universe. I'm aware of these people,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna say what I want to in this movie. He really did just kind of go balls to the wall. He threw caution to the wind in that writing. Um, what about the Martha jokes about Batman?
Yeah, that was good too.
Oh, oh my god! Dude, and the other part when he meets Cable and he tells him, "Oh my god, you're so dark. Are you a DC character?" And I was like,
So the thing that made that line fucking hilarious to me is spoilers for Legends of Tomorrow season 3. You're probably never going to watch it, but I've
Mhm.
watched it. It's the best season of that show they've ever had.
Really?
They have this whole arc where they are fighting this time demon, and the only way to defeat the time demon is to gather these 6 amulets that control different elements. Like it's kind of like fucking Captain Planet. With their
Hmm.
powers combined, they can make something that can defeat the time demon. And in one of the early episodes, they introduced this toy that's from the 80s that's supposed to basically be Gizmo,
Hmm.
but he's not Gizmo because they couldn't use that license. So he's Bebo. And he's this like blue bear that like talks and tells you that he loves you and shit. Um, it gets displaced in time. the whole thing. When they finally figure out that they need to combine their powers to create a good that's enough to be able to defeat the evil, they combine and make a giant Bebo that then fucking wrecks the shit out of a time demon. And it's glorious. And it's so fucking happy and fun and light. And he's just saying, "You must be from the DC universe." I'm like, that's not the DC universe I watch. Because in the DC universe I watch, there's a giant bear, blue bear, running around fucking killing demons. And it's hilarious.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, dude. I thought that was a perfect deal. Because, you and I have said this on the show before. DC movies are so dark, and they have more in common with the Marvel Netflix series for how dark they are. Where
but that's the thing is, like, Infinity War is the darkest shit ever. It just blows all of the other fucking movies from DC out of the water as far as darkness is concerned. Because
they could not come in there and be happy knowing we're about to evaporate half the life in the universe.
In the DC universe, even though things are all dark, nobody ever fucking dies. There's no other than, like, people dying in Batman versus Superman, and in like the other movies, like, the heroes are never gonna die. The bad guys are always gonna be defeated. And then Marvel just comes in and lays its dick on the table and is like, "Nah, you're all fucking dead. Half of you are gone. Fuck you, get out of here." And that's like the darkest thing that they've ever fucking done.
Bro. I love this show. I'm sitting here looking at some of the stuff that's in here. No, I can't do that right now. I was looking at some of the craziness in here that they did, and I was just like, this is one of the neat ones. The references, I just caught everything that he called Cable in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So the one, Zip It Thanos, because he did play Thanos. He also called him Give Me Your Best Shot, One-Eyed Willie, which was a reference to his first role in a film in The Goonies. I was like, oh my God, that one flew over my head. Dude, he had so many good ones. He
called him something else. Something from an old Clint Eastwood movie too. Like one of the old Westerns. Did you catch the Hope Summers reference? Because he actually says that Cable actually says that his daughter's name is Hope at the end of the film.
Oh, yes.
So that's the daughter that he was saving by stopping the kid. I don't know. There's so much to unpack in that fucking movie. It's not even funny.
I got to go back a second time.
I need to too. I want to at some point. Like, I'd love to fucking see it again, because it's just fucking amazing. Like, the whole subversion of X-Force was the best.
Oh my. Okay, first of all, let's talk about these. So the Vanisher was Brad Pitt.
Yeah. And
which blew me away.
The two rednecks in the scene when Cable first shows up.
The pickup truck scene.
That's Alan Tudyk and Matt Damon.
Which I did not know. Yeah. Matt Damon was the one talking about the toilet paper, and I was like, you remember the whole thing about? Yeah, I didn't either, bro. He was like, what you do is you get the baby wipes first.
Yeah,
that's piece de resistance. I was like, what the world? Are they really having this conversation? Yep. And then when I come back later and they tell me that's Matt Damon, I was like, no, it wasn't. No, it was not. There's no way that's Matt Damon. It was so good, so good. That messed me up finding out who that was. Now, here's my thing.
We got Black Tom.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Racist son of a bitch.
First of all, that was amazing. Okay, let's just go ahead for the film when he's now got and Cable actually starts to try to defend himself against racism to Deadpool. Not racist, and it's just like it was at that scene he went from being dry, boring character to straight man to this fool. At that scene,
Yeah.
it was where the whole thing changes. And then he felt like it felt like watching the comic book progression where he was this dry Punisher, dark ripoff, dark,
Yeah.
brutal,
And the
brooding.
guy that
And
you like didn't know anything about, who would just show up for a comic or two and then fucking disappear again.
mm-hmm.
Like
And then all
it,
of a sudden here he is. When he first shows up with Deadpool and you see him and you're just kind of like, this is amazing. The way they riff off of each other is amazing.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just becomes like in the movie, we saw that take place. It was like they took all the greatest issues of his character and we actually watched him progress to that part where it's like, no, this is what we are. I'm the straight man to this fool over here. Loved, especially the let's go tip to tip, tip to tip. Is that a knife fit my dick? Yes, that is a knife fit your dick. Okay,
Dude,
I'm gonna back it up.
that fucking baby legs scene. Holy shit.
So
Like that
we got
joke was
Basic Instinct.
created by Rick and Morty, but fucking Deadpool just took it to a whole nother fucking level.
We got baby dick, dog. Like there was especially T.J. Miller, who I'm so glad he was there. I was really upset when they were talking about like he wasn't going to be there and he was going to have a diminished role. He had the perfect amount of role in that film because he said, "Did he just Basic Instinct us?" Yes, he did. He did. And Domino, oh my God, can we admit how
Domino
amazing
was the
Domino
best.
was?
I don't really
Oh,
think that Luck is gonna be a very cinematic power while she's fucking like flying through the air and shit.
yeah, landing on shit and surviving. And he's like, yeah, luck is not a superpower. And yes, it is.
Of course it is, because literally everybody else died on that fucking
Oh my
slow
God.
ride down.
One of my buddies was mad. He was like, I like Shatter. He said,
Fuck
I like
Shatterstar.
Shatterstar as a comic book character. And he said, and I didn't like them killing him. He was
Fuck
upset by that.
Shatterstar.
Bro, they do. They really do.
I I was
I was kind of
upset.
mad that they killed Bedlam.
Yeah, I was upset when Terry Crews died. I was like, no, you can't. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, come on, man. You got him in there. Why take him out? So, yeah, that was kind of weak sauce as far as I was concerned. But it was so damn good, dude.
The part of the film that doesn't make the most sense to me is their exit from the prison. As Deadpool and Cable get like blown out of a hat, get blown out of the side, and they go falling down the side of a fucking mountain. And Deadpool cracks his head open and gets thrust into the water, and then he goes and sees. Also, that's Lady Death. That's not his wife or his girlfriend. Anyway, so right after that, I mean, like, why the fuck didn't Cable just get up and walk back up there and get the kid? What
Yeah,
would have
good
stopped
question.
him? Deadpool was fucking out of it. The whole prison is rioting. Why would he get up and leave when he knows that the kid is right there?
That is
That
good.
was
But
the
then again, the way
one
they fell
thing.
down that hill, I don't think there was a way up that mountain. That's one of the things I want to look at second time we go see it. I don't think he had a way to get back up there.
It doesn't matter. Like, he didn't have to leave from where the prison was and go all the way back to the city, which is presumably across the earth,
True enough.
to wait for the kid to get transferred from a deep freeze facility that's probably somewhere in Canada. Like,
Possibly.
that part of the movie broke the spell of that movie. It very quickly recovered because right after that you had the whole X-Force thing and I was back in it. But I was just like, in the back of my mind I was like, why the fuck would Cable leave? His target is right there. Like, walk up the fucking mountain and go kill the goddamn kid. The only person who's going to stop you is fucking brain dead temporarily.
Yes. Yeah, he was out of it. He was out of it. And it was just so okay, let's talk about this. Things that I didn't catch the first time. Uh Stan Lee. I didn't catch it.
Yeah, I didn't catch the cameo either, and it was supposedly just some kind of psychedelic painting on the wall in the background during
Yeah, he was one of the paintings, and I think he was one
Dominant
of the
scene.
busts in the mansion.
I didn't catch that either.
Yeah, he was supposed to be one of the paintings and one of the busts in the mansions. Um, and I was like, oh, he was? And they were like, yeah, he was one of the busts. Because I know the only thing I remember is when the statue fell down. Because he says, what's with all these white old men on these paintings? And I kept going, okay, yeah, it's a bunch of old white guys. But I didn't
Is
stop to
it the
look to
bus
see
that
it was Stan Lee.
he hits with the chair on his way down the hallway? Is that
I
the
don't
one?
know. I didn't look.
Hmm.
So I got to go see it because I missed it. Um, Cerebro makes a cameo.
Oh yeah, that Cerebro shit was fucking hilarious, especially when he breaks it.
Bro, Professor X's wheelchair made an appearance. Can we just go ahead and admit Yukio and him still the film together?
Yeah,
Oh my god! Like we love Negasonic Teenage Warhead, whatever her long ass name is from the first one, but she was such a non-factor in this film. She just showed up to hate on him, but Yukio was who we every time he would love you, Yukio, and I was just like, Deadpool just make hearts for Yukio. I was like, I
he
was
did.
done, dude. Every time he and Yukio were on the screen, I was like, okay, this is gonna be good because he's gonna be really friendly to Yukio and drive her crazy, and he did every time. It was so good. The Hawkeye reference was cold blooded though, bro.
uh,
I loved it. I did not talk about the mid credit scene. I'm not even going to ruin this. I'm just going to say this: stay to the mid credit scene. If you're listening to this,
yep.
there is a there is
There
a special treat for you in the mid credit scene.
there is no after the credits scene, but there
Nothing.
is a reason to stay to the end of the credits. And if you left early, you
I
shouldn't
stayed all
have.
the way to the very end, and the lights came on.
Yeah, that last bit of music. Yeah,
Yes, I forgot.
yeah.
I totally forgot that. If you stay through the credits to hear the ending, the very last song, it was I laughed my ass off to that, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
The mid credit scene, probably out of all the films I've ever watched, my favorite mid credit scene
Mm-hmm.
because it was just like, okay, that could be the plot for the next film, right there.
McAvoy or Stewart? These timelines are so confusing.
Yeah, I was like, I just like that's the next film. The other thing I did not realize in the credits, Matt Damon was credited as Dickie Greenleaf, and that is the identity of the character he stole from Jude Law in the 1999 movie, The Talented Mr. Ripley. I did not catch that. I did not catch that, man. I was like, I really should have because there was the in the opening credits the guy responsible for killing John Wick's dog was credited. Like the beginning credits are always wacky in these films,
That
but yeah,
so the opener to the film is him blowing himself up because she's dead and he wants to die. And then right after that it switches to the opening credits, which are kind of the same as the opening credits of the first movie, where it's just a bunch of funny one-liners and like funny scenes in the background. And you think like it didn't work because where everybody is fucking down about what happened like 5 minutes ago, and then just to start trying to toss jokes out didn't seem right. I don't know. It was very uncomfortable.
yeah, it's one of those weird things where it's like we just saw something like okay, the film started a little bit more seriously than I thought it would,
Yeah.
so you're kind of like, huh, this is weird, but at the same time one of my friends was like, she said it wasn't as many action pieces to this one. And I was like, to me, they were bigger action pieces instead of a bunch of little ones because they had a lot of action in the last one, but they didn't have the budget to do big scenes and set pieces. Where
Yeah.
this one, they had budget. And I love when he said, okay, here comes the big CG fight. That was hilarious, dude. When he said that big CG fight, I was like, and it was a good CG fight. You could tell they got money for this one this year.
Yeah.
So good. Um, I still, um, I agree with you on that one. I thought when they put the jokes in, there were some parts where the jokes were like, "Bro, I'm not ready to laugh yet, and you're already punching me in the face with a joke."
Yeah.
After you just did probably one of the most dramatic scenes that we're ever going to see in this film or in the film series itself. Um,
It's so okay. So back to Dead Vanessa. I don't think that Dead Vanessa that he was talking to when he was Dead Vanessa. I think that that's supposed to be Lady Death. I think it's just Lady Death in the guise of Vanessa because that's who he wants her to look like. And I think that they were gonna try to pull in the Lady Death angle, but they couldn't because I think Lady Death belongs to the MCU and not to
but he sure
um,
as hell didn't use her in
Fox.
Infinity War.
They didn't because that angle wouldn't have worked because there was no person for Death to already be in love with because Deadpool was not a part of the MCU. So I think
If
that I think that Lady Death isn't ever gonna come in at all in on either side of the fence because I think that they've already established that Hela is Death and Hela's dead, and they don't want to confuse everybody by saying, "Well, she's Death, but Death for this pantheon, whereas this is Lady Death, and she's actually Death." I don't know if they want to go to the length of trying to explain that to the non-comic book audience.
well, here's the thing: we may actually find out if there is a Deadpool 3, and the reason I say that is because we do know from comic book lore, Deadpool does get eventually married. It was a big issue, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and so and he does marry Death, meaning if they wanted to, they could say Vanessa, upon dying, was given the job of Lady Death, and they could explain it away that way if they wanted it to. Not saying they will.
Yeah.
Not saying they will, because you bring up a good point, man. They really have tried to build a lot into these universes um, to keep it as being as non-confusing for non-comic book fans. But they do throw a lot of nods to the comic books, and that's one of the things that I really liked about Deadpool too, is that Deadpool did not play by the rules. Deadpool talked about things that the audience would know, like he's in on the joke,
Mm-hmm.
that he knows, he's self-aware of what he is. And so that's what I thought about this film, is that it talked about the rest of the Marvel universe, it talked about the DC universe, it talked about the films, it talked to us as an audience. He broke the fourth
Him
wall.
him fucking dressed up as that stripper. I knew there had to be a
Oh,
reason why in that Celine Dion video he had those heels. I just wasn't expecting him to be a stripper. That was fucking hilarious.
it was great, dude. All those kills, every one of those kills was amazing. uh Bro, I was like, I'm trying to think of what else, man. There was so much that happened in this movie that it was hard to keep up with
The
everything, man.
fucking ass pin. The kid, he's like,
Oh my god,
put this in the old
yes.
prison wallet.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. No, it was like,
Dude, that kid is
mm-mm.
fucking amazing. If you haven't seen Hunt for the Wilder People, which is another film that kid is in, which is
I
directed by Tika Waititi,
It's on my
watch it.
watch list on Hulu right now,
Watch it.
and I did not realize that was the same
It's
kid.
the same kid. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Now you're gonna just make me go watch that, dude.
And it's
Um,
like I said, it's directed by Tika Waititi. So
is that who directed this?
no, he didn't direct Deadpool 2, but he directed Hunt for the Wilder People
Okay,
and
I
Thor
have got to
Ragnarok.
watch.
So
Now it's starting to make sense. Okay,
yeah.
cool, cool, cool. Okay, so yeah, I gotta go watch that. Now, yeah, because that kid was amazing, and he, bro, it was like so funny in the role, just how he kind of he really kind of made you kind of go, eh, he's not annoying. He's really not annoying. It was just like he really had a legit. it's kind of like Killmonger. You go, yeah, he's got a legitimate beef. He's got a legitimate beef. I'm
Yeah,
gonna give him this one. He had a legitimate beef, and I was just kind of like, I'm not saying I wouldn't do the same thing.
and that school is also canon. That's in the comics. That reform school,
I was actually going to check on that because I wasn't. I
and
knew there were
that's
a lot of
actually
schools.
Domino's backstory too. Is that she was from that school and she was tortured there.
I was going to check on it. There were some things like with that reference that I wasn't sure about,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, I don't know about that one. I got to look into that. So that's actually good stuff, bro. The ballerina doll with Logan lost my shit in the theater on that one.
If they don't
Uh,
turn that into a product and sell it, they're fucking up.
oh
That
my
needs to
god, yeah.
be commercial right now. They need to throw it on ThinkGeek or put it wherever. I will buy it tomorrow and
Bro,
just
get
keep it
to
on
it.
my
I'll pay
desk
you
all the
back.
time.
Okay, because I'm just saying that would go on my desk at work. I just want that Logan reference, man. That ballerina box with Logan was amazing. I was like, that's so good. That was so good. Um,
I gotta push down the piece of wood, the fucking sticking out of his chest to start it.
dude, I was just that movie was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I liked the second one more than I liked the first one. And maybe it was because with the second one there were more it was more Deadpool than Deadpool. It
Mm-hmm.
was like he really just he knows this character now. He just got comfortable in the role of the character and he went crazy with it. I really enjoyed it. I liked it more. I can't say everybody's going to feel that way. Me personally, I liked it better than the first one,
Yeah.
which is really rare with a sequel when you come out of it and go, I actually like this one better than the first one. You usually have that drop off. This one here, there were maybe two parts in the movie where I felt like the one coming into jokes that quick after Vanessa is killed was kind of like, I don't remember laughing. I wasn't ready to laugh at that point out, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't remember laughing at anything there. I just kind of remember everything falling flat basically around me too. And they're like, nobody's really laughing at that joke. But after that, like within minutes of it, you're laughing at everything else that takes place.
You know, there's also the possibility that Vanessa's still alive
How you feel?
because Vanessa in the comics, she's a shapeshifter and um, she is a mutant, so she might have been able to survive. Wakes up in the hospital, in the morgue, leaves, takes over another identity. Like her mutant power, like her getting shot, activates her mutant power, and she heals, and then she just leaves.
Man, you gave him a whole new idea for part three.
Yeah,
You gonna pitch that to him? You gonna pitch it? You gonna just write? Go ahead, hit
because
Van City up on Twitter and tell it.
they never revealed that she's a mutant, even though
They yeah, they
we
don't.
know that she's a mutant according to the comics.
Right.
And the only character that they got permission to change in Deadpool was Negasonic Teenage Warhead. They got permission to change that for Deadpool 1, and in
Yeah.
return, Marvel got the ability to use Ego, because Ego is technically a part of the Mutants franchise
Right.
and not um, the MCU franchise. So, what if Vanessa's mutant power activates? What if
What I
she wakes up in the morgue? She gets out, assumes somebody, like, accidentally assumes somebody else's body and doesn't realize it, has amnesia.
what if we got a okay, so summer 2019, the deal's supposed to go through if everything doesn't get screwed up. Um, what if we got a Spider-Man Deadpool next?
That would be too confusing for audiences.
No, I mean, where they teamed up. Spider-Man and Deadpool have
I
teamed up
know.
before.
What
Yeah,
I'm saying is everybody calls Deadpool Spider Man.
yeah,
It would be too
that's true. But
confusing for the audience. They wouldn't be able to tell the difference between them.
man, Sony would make so much money out of that deal. Sony would just print money, dude. They'd be like, everybody gets a PS5 when they come out. They'd be printing money off of that one, dude. It was a lot of stuff in this movie to unpack. I still think I want to go back a second time.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to try to do it sometime in the coming weekend. I just kind of want to sit down through it and just kind of unpack it again and just kind of say, okay, yeah, now I think I've caught everything.
Let it
If you
wash
were going to
over
give
you.
it a, oh gosh, I got to. If you were going to give it a score, I don't know how you want to do it. Do you want to go on a scale of 1 to 10? Do you want to go a score like A, B, C, D, F, or
On a
um,
scale of 1 to 10, I would go see it again.
yeah, no, it's definitely up in there. It's hard to say, man, because this is going to sound crazy. Uh, Infinity War for me was damn near perfect filmmaking. Um, for the story that it had to tell and how epic the story was. I didn't feel like they'd, spent too much time on any character and stuff. I mean, for them to juggle that many characters and to make me feel like the pacing was good
Mm-hmm.
because I felt comfortable with everybody, um, I was probably going to be like a 9.8. That's where Infinity War fell. I walked out of Deadpool 2, and my first initial watching of it was, damn, that's like a high 9.6, 9.7. I
Mm-hmm.
think I honestly came out and said 9.7 right after I first saw it. It was just like, that's a 9.7. That's just a damn good film. There were so many things they did right. And you're right, for the things that they did wrong that were glaringly wrong, they recovered from them so quick they weren't potholes. They were just temporary lapses. That was all they really were.
Yeah.
But
Peter was the
I
best too.
oh my god, that
Rob
character.
Delaney was just fucking amazing.
That whole character, man, it was just
Have you seen his
crazy.
Twitter?
Yes, you showed
It's
it
the
to me. So
best.
there's Peter has a Twitter, and if you, for the people that
Rob
haven't
Delaney is
watched
taking
it,
pictures as Peter, posting him. I don't know if
and
Rob
going
Delaney is
around
posting
town,
them but yeah, it's
yeah, dude,
hilarious.
that was crazy. That he's just like, let me see if that's. I want to see if I can pull it up real quick. Yeah, there, you actually could put in Deadpool 2 Peter Twitter, and it will pull it up at Peter W underscore 1974, and it's got so much stuff about beekeeping on it. Dude, that is so crazy. That is so crazy. Uh
So, what's your superpower? Oh, I just saw the ad and decided to apply. So you don't have any superpowers. You're hired.
bro.
And he did tell him that he was gonna watch out for him.
Dude, this is so awesome, man. So if you guys haven't seen this film, there's a guy named Peter that's going to be a part of X Force. It is played by Rob
Rob
Delaney,
Delaney.
and it is he's probably going to be your new favorite hero. Let's just go ahead and say that. Uh,
So when he looked at the headshot, it was the headshot of Rob Delaney, like the
his
headshot that he
actor
would use,
headshot,
his actor
yeah.
headshot. It's like I feel like I've gotten robbed when he saw Peter.
uh, bro, it was so good. I don't even know how I can't even talk about that, how good that role was, man. It was see, that's it. That's why that gets such a high score, 9.7. Because the X Force gag was goofy.
What are your powers? I'm just better than you at everything.
Yeah, it was goofy. The interviews were goofy. The whole selection of heroes was goofy. Uh, all of it was goofy. It was one long running stupid joke, and it still lands. I
Yeah.
don't know how that joke lands, and we're sold on it for damn near 15, 20 minutes because we still have X Force when they jump out of the plane. And I was just like, we're really going with this. We're really going with this. So it's just like, wow. No, it's so good, man. Dude, I'm just sitting here looking at his this Twitter is crazy. I'm getting wrapped up in this Twitter. Peter Deadpool 2 Peter. If you want to go to that Twitter, it is hilarious. We definitely recommend it. It's Peter W underscore 1974 at Peter W underscore 1974. It is hilarious. And I'm just kind of getting lost in it, reading even more stuff. A lot of more love on this page since the movie came out.
Mm.
Because they're posts all the way back from like early April, and you're starting to see these numbers growing because people are starting to discover it more and more. So that's cool, though, man. Uh,
I think that's it.
yeah, I can't think of anything else, man. There was so much that they could have. There was so much more they could have to added into this. I'm just kind of looking at it. Uh, I'm just kind of looking to see what else they got, man. But no, I think that's it, man. There was way too much. We got to go see it a second time.
Yeah.
Second time. And then we can maybe pick out some more of these, man. I'm looking at some of these references, man, and Easter eggs that were in there. And I'm really disturbed anyway because I know realistically Stan Lee cameos are going to be a thing where we're going to be looking back at them and going, yeah, those don't anymore. Um, Stan's been some health issues and a lot of stuff going on anyway. So I'm not ready for that day when that happens, but it's bro, Peter references. I could definitely have Peter make an appearance in every new Marvel
They
film
should
now.
no. They should just let Deadpool do it. Just
Let
let Deadpool
Deadpool
be a
take over.
cameo, because I mean, he's he's like that anyway in the comics. It just shows up for like a panel and then fucking leaves. And
That's true.
he
That is true.
he knows, like, essentially like the way that Stan Lee's cameos work. When he's talking to the Watchers in Guardians of the Galaxy, he's like, "I've been this and I've been that and I've been this." So that character of Stan Lee in that cameo role obviously knows that he is in something that is greater than just him being alive. And that's the
Yeah.
same thing as Deadpool. Like, he's fully aware that he's a comic book character and that all of this is bullshit, and he knows all the pop culture references that nobody else knows because he's crazy. Everybody in the universe perceives him as crazy, but he's actually breaking the fourth wall because he knows there is a fourth wall to break.
Yeah. I definitely can't wait. Let's go see it a second time. We'll do another show. I don't even know if there's any other thing else to pick apart. We gave it a score. We both loved it. It's definitely a must see film.
Go fucking
Um,
watch it if you haven't.
oh yeah, no, dude.
Period.
Yeah, no. I just, look. There's only two movies I've seen where I said this movie deserves to be watched a second time in the theater, and Infinity War was one, and Black Panther was one. The list is starting to grow. Deadpool 2 is definitely on that list. This needs to be seen at least two times on a big screen. There's a lot to unpack,
Yeah.
and you're not going to catch everything. Even if you watched it three times on your movie pass card, if you went every day for a month, you still wouldn't catch everything. There's a lot in this film. There's so many small references and small Easter eggs and on-screen gags that you can't catch everything. So definitely a film to be seen again. I loved it. Definitely recommend it. Anything else we got, man?
That's it.
Well, it looks like that summer con schedule is going to be starting soon, and I'll be back out on the road doing those. But I'm actually enjoying being back in here and doing these shows again. This feels good. And we also launched a new show. Eventually, finally, the show I've been telling y'all was going to launch for months. Yay, Brandon finally made it come to fruition.
Yeah.
There's a show out there, Radical Thinking. It's a Team Lift Presents show, and we're still doing this show. And eventually, we're going to get Zane back on here doing Otaku Lounge again. So we may have three shows again one day, but it seemed like the minute we tried to launch three shows, everything went to hell. Everything. So, everybody, thanks for listening to the show. Peace.
Bye bye.